in my pocket, I have the keys to something that's just... Yeah, exactly. But we're not talking about that vehicle today. We're talking about this one right here. So for those of you who don't know, I am in Sardinia for the next 3 months. I am a content creator, the head content creator for this club called Fibeach. Excuse the construction that's going to be in the back, so you might hear some hammers. Yeah, you'll definitely hear some hammers. So I came here with my Canon R5, my DJI Avata, and my DJI Mini 3 Pro because I'm mainly going to be making vertical content. But when I got here, the propeller broke on my drone, so I had to send it over to DJI. So I was like, shit, I need to get one because I want to start shooting for them. The season has started and I want to start making content for them that's really good. That's why I'm here. Hold on, the lighting might be better like this. Now, luckily DJI was like, okay, we'll fix this for you and send it back to you as soon as possible, the Mini 3 Pro. So I was like, okay, sounds good. But in the meantime, I was like, let me pick up a drone to start shooting. And that is the DJI Air 3. Now, it's not brand new. This thing came out August of last year. From what I heard from the rumors, there's not going to be another one coming out for probably the next year. So I shouldn't have to worry about getting an outdated device. This still has OcuSync 4, which is DJI's best connection, which is actually better than the ones that they have in the Mavic Pro line, which is great. It's currently updating, so let me just keep it here because I have it connected to my hotspot. But this thing is mean looking. I'm used to the DJI Mini 3 Pro, which is tiny, and this thing is the opposite. The reason I went for a bigger drone is mainly for the wind. Here it is incredibly windy, and my DJI Avata in FPV mode, which has much more powerful motors than the Mini 3 Pro, even that struggles in this wind. I see some jitter shake with GoPro's Real Steady smoothing everything out. And GoPro's Real Steady is the best stabilization. So I was like, I need something that can handle the wind more. I was either gonna get the Mavic 3 Classic with the big 5.1K Hasselblad sensor, and I decided to go for the Air 3. It's a bit smaller. It's a C1 category drone instead of C2, so I can fly in more places. It comes with 2 cameras this time. One regular 24mm camera, I'll put the specs around here, and then the 70mm telephoto lens, which I am medium telephoto lens, which I'm extremely excited to use. 46 minutes of battery life, OcuSync 4 connection, full 360-degree sensor so you don't run into anything, and all of DJI's quick shots, cinematic settings and all. I used to really neglect using ND filters just because I thought it was a waste of time, but it makes a huge difference with these GPS drones as well. You get that less sharp or digital look from having such a high shutter speed in broad daylight. So I'm already gonna slap the ND32 because I know that's gonna be necessary because it is super bright today. It is something that I would always do with FPV because I know there's a lot of motion blur because I'm going relatively fast, but yeah, you don't wanna forget to use this on your regular drones. All right, she's just about done updating. So let me show you what I've gotten these past days with the DJI Air 3. Let's go. Okay, yeah, so I got some sick clips with this drone, and there are a lot of things I do want to talk about. First things first, I got this cover for the drone remote, and I absolutely love it. It does fit while it's still in the bag with everything else. But basically, you know, it just protects the screen, which is one cool feature. Second cool feature is that it allows you to keep the sticks on, which makes it so much faster, you know, getting ready to actually shoot. You don't have to take them out from back here and screw them in because that takes way too long in my opinion. They need to find a way to just have them lock somehow or whatever that allows it to be flush while still having them on, and then you can maybe just pop them out or something. So that's really nice. I don't have to worry about that. And then finally, the fact that it does provide a bit of shade if you need. It is very sunny here in Sardinia, and there's times where I am not level, I don't think. And there's times where it's really sunny, so having this little section here allows me to cast a bit of a shadow over the screen and see a lot better. So yeah, the image, it is very, very good. Considering it has the same sensor size as the Mini 3 Pro, which I had, as well as the Mini 4 Pro, the image looks so good. And for me, honestly, the most shocking was the 70mm. I'm definitely not used to having the zoom. I didn't think I was going to use it as much as I did the past few days, and it looks so good. The compression you get with 70mm just looks like a completely different production. It honestly looks like you're using a helicopter. And the speed of the drone definitely helps with that, allows you to get those crazy parallax shots at 70mm, and it looks so good. What's amazing is you can use it in the full 16:9 and 9:16 aspect ratio. So for vertical content, you can still use that 70mm, and it looks so good. Speaking of that vertical content, I really do enjoy the 2.7K. I was a little bit afraid that it wouldn't be up to my standards, considering I was used to the Mini 3 Pro, which has the camera that rotates vertically, giving you a full sensor, full 4K image. But the 2.7K looks amazing, and considering it's used for social media use, which gets exported into 1080p for the best results, it's more than enough, and it looks really good. You guys can have a see for yourself. The client, Fee Beach, they very much enjoy it, and they said it looks even better than the content they had last year, so for me, that's a win. And 2.7K in theory will be better in low light because it has fewer pixels, so the fact that I was shooting the club at night and it looks so clean was very nice. I really enjoyed that. Another thing I really enjoyed was that 4K at 100 frames per second. I was filming this boat going by in the windy conditions here in Sardinia. Today is lucky that there isn't really much wind, but it looks so good. I really was not expecting that either. I know this isn't a brand new drone, but having 4K at 100 frames per second, that's a lot of data to be pushing through such a small sensor. But obviously the processing inside this drone allows you to have such a clean image that looks just perfect. It's so usable. Both of the sensors are amazing. Yes, it's kind of hard to judge what the exposure will be on both cameras, because when you send the drone up, you have to pick an ND filter based on the exposure, and usually I go for that 24mm, and the 70mm has a slower aperture. The 24mm is 1.7 and the 70mm is 2.8, so the exposure is not going to be exactly the same. But for me, ND filters on drones, I've realized that it's really hard to nail it exactly perfectly for the 180-degree rule, which basically is your shutter speed being twice your frame rate. So what I do is I get it as close as possible. As long as you're not cranking the shutter to 1 over some crazy 1,000 number, you'll get great results. So sometimes I go, if I'm shooting at 30 frames per second, instead of 1 over 60, sometimes I'll be 1 over 80 or 1 over 100, and it still looks great. You know, this is not a bad spot to make a YouTube video. I'm changing my location because they need to do some work over there, but anyways. So I got this cover thing which keeps all the propellers together, because I think it's really sloppy how they fly all over the place, and I think that's how I broke one of the propellers on my Mini 3 Pro, you know, putting it in my bag. One of the props was kind of at an angle, and usually I'm very careful, but sometimes I can forget, and it just snapped, and that was annoying. So getting something like this, which keeps everything neatly together, makes it so much faster and easier in terms of storing it in your bag. It also just makes it a much neater package. I think in their future drones, they should either come with a strap cover like this, or they should lock in some way. I don't know, so they're not just like flapping all around the place like this, because they can even get in the way when you're trying to open the drone out. So there's that. Another thing I really like is the return to home feature is really cool. It's extremely accurate. On the actual screen, it shows you the flight path as the drone is coming back towards you. And I like the fact that it's a bit more of a curved down, you know, linear way to get towards you, instead of just shooting straight up and then coming right above and then going straight down. The obstacle avoidance on this, I guess, is at a high enough level or good enough quality that it trusts itself to choose a more direct flight path. I did try the active track when I was shooting a car video for Mercedes, and it looked great and it followed extremely well. I do think it's still a bit robotic. I think they still haven't perfected the cinematic part. I think they got down the tracking itself. It was able to keep up with the car very easily, as this goes quite fast. I think 67 kilometers an hour, or 66.6 is the max it can go. But some of the movements are a bit jerky, as I feel like it's still, you know, prioritizing keeping the subject in frame instead of smoothly keeping the subject in frame. But I'm pretty sure over time that's going to get better with DJI drones. Or maybe I just don't know how to use it. Now, in terms of things I don't really like, one thing I would say is the boot up time. It is a bit slower than my Mini 3 Pro. I feel like This takes about, I don't know, 20 to 30 seconds for the remote and the drone to pair up. And for me, that's just a bit long. I'm used to the Mini 3 Pro, which within like 10-15 seconds that thing is ready to fly. That's one. Two, obviously it's a bit louder, but it hasn't bothered me here because I'm allowed to be here. I'm not trying to be stealth, and if people are distracted by the drone, so be it. It doesn't really matter. Other than that, I have no complaints. I really like the Fly More bag, and obviously I think if you were to get this drone, you should get this bag. But realistically, if you're trying to save money, the drone with just one battery should be enough. I've never used 2 batteries back to back shooting full events because the battery life on this is like 46 minutes. I realistically probably got more like 30 minutes, but still that's a crazy amount of time to be in the air. It might not be enough if you're more into long hyperlapses or something like that, but in terms of regular flying, just getting cinematic shots, 1 battery should be enough for most things. That's just my opinion. I do also like the fact, although it's not super important, that this is a mean looking drone. You know, it looks big, it looks serious. I'm used to using the Mini 3 Pro, and although it has an amazing image, you know, clients would look at it like, is that drone gonna be able to produce a good enough image for what I'm paying this guy to do? That's not uncommon in the filmmaking world, photography world. Bigger equipment gets more respect. People with red cameras say they can charge more because it's a big cinema camera compared to using like a mirrorless camera like this, the Canon R5, using matte boxes, just things that add more flair, which add more production value, so to speak. So yeah, people take me more seriously when I'm flying this thing, and so do I. It's pretty menacing. That's pretty much it for this video, guys. Thank you so much. I have an exciting drone coming quite soon. You may be able to guess what type it is, and we'll be talking about that in a week or two. It's arriving in like 2-3 days, and then I get the accessories for it a few days after. And yeah, that's gonna be very, very exciting, especially here in Sardinia, where it's absolutely beautiful. So that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. This is an amazing drone. I don't think they're gonna release an Air 4 yet. Plus, I think this still hits way above its class. I think it's very similar to the Mavics in terms of performance and all that. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to check out this equipment, links will be down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.